Let's go! Tigers win, baby, in a big way, but something happened for the first time in the Ed Orgeron regime that has never happened before. It's a reason why you should be just a little bit skeptical of LSU's dominant performance. That's coming up in just a moment. Guys, are you kidding? I really do mean this. I broke down after seeing all the support on our live stream. There was something new on that live stream, and I don't know. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of today's video, but for right now, I'm just going to promote our Tuesday night live stream at 7 p.m., but I'm telling you, I was really touched and moved by you guys. And some real good news to start off here. It just broke. My hometown of New Roads, Louisiana, has an LSU Tiger. Matthew Langlois commits to LSU. That means the world to me. It's a small town in Louisiana. If you've never been to New Roads, well, there's not a whole lot there, but it is a special town to me. So thank you, Matthew, for joining LSU. Let's go. Ed Orgeron and the LSU Tigers had their first true bye week under the Ed Orgeron regime. I can't say regime. Why I keep saying regime? It's true. It was their first true bye week. Now, they've had bye weeks in the past, but it coincided with Alabama's bye week. Yes, every single year since 2010, LSU and Bama shared a bye week before playing each other, which makes a lot of sense. These have been the two best programs in the SEC, and, if you're going up against another team that is basically a minor league NFL team, you want extra time to prepare. I remember back in 2009 when I interviewed Kelvin Shepard, who is currently with the LSU Tigers, and he told me that it was such a huge advantage for Alabama to have that extra time to rest and prepare. So, since then, LSU and Alabama have both had bye weeks, which essentially cancel each other out. This was the first time in quite some time that LSU had a true bye week, meaning that they had a bye week, but their opponent didn't. And this year, SEC bye weeks are more valuable than ever. And that's because you have to play another SEC team every single week. So there's basically, unless of course you play Vanderbilt, there are no real give me games. They just don't exist. You have got to go out there and play your best guys and play at an extremely high level. And let's not get it twisted. LSU was spectacular against South Carolina, but let's not underestimate the importance of that extra rest, and even more important, that extra time to prepare. Now, I've mentioned this. A text now? Oh, it's a good text. We're having chicken wings tonight. Let's go. Lemon pepper, let's go. Let's not underestimate how LSU prepared for this game. Now, I always say this about press conference quotes. There's oftentimes very little quotes that give you very valuable information, but this from Ed Orgeron tells you a lot about the LSU program. They said immediately when the Florida game was postponed, they immediately started getting ready for South Carolina. So, because it was canceled on Wednesday instead of, let's say, Friday or Saturday, that gave LSU legit an extra 3 days of actual practice to prepare for South Carolina. And that allowed them to have all-in focus on the opposition, while the opposition was playing a very physical and albeit a victory Auburn. That was not smooth at all. But basically, South Carolina the week before was in that same time getting ready to play Auburn, and they indeed beat Auburn, but that was a very physical and emotional win. LSU looked fresh. They looked amazing. They looked healthy. And that was so huge because if that wasn't the case, LSU would have had to have played this game against South Carolina after playing 3 consecutive road games. Now, let's not get it twisted. Is LSU a better team? Do they have better talent than South Carolina? Absolutely. But if you look historically, when you look historically, the elite teams, when they have an extra week to prepare, have oftentimes pummeled the opposition. A good example is Gus Malzahn and Auburn. When they have that extra week to prepare, they are 10-0 under Gus Malzahn. And those are actual true bye weeks. Games where the other team didn't have a bye week. Oh, hey. Let me get it. I think I got a package. You guys, this has been a crazy video already. But I want to show you what I got in the mail here. It's actually something I'm giving away to the 1.5 thousandth or 1,500. That's smoother. 1,500 subscriber. You're getting this right here. Patrick Queen rookie. Look at that. I'm actually going to send another one out to one of you that have already subscribed. So that's a pretty good package, right? That was such a loud duh. I don't know if you heard it or not, but let's be honest. Having more time and more rest, especially after playing 2 road games. Florida would have been your 3rd consecutive road game. Florida would have been a situation where we're not even sure if TJ Finley would have been the starter. Remember, it was neck and neck between him and Max Johnson. And I was told earlier in the week that Max Johnson was ahead in that quarterback race. So it possibly could have been Max Johnson that played that Florida game. I cannot say this enough, how big of a blessing not playing that game in Gainesville was. Remember, football games, especially in the SEC, especially with this compact, crazy year schedule, football games don't exist in a vacuum. What is happening off the field and what is happening in the previous weeks play a huge role in what is actually happening on the field. And in this situation, LSU had everything going for it. And on the opposite end, South Carolina was playing LSU. This was their 4th top 20th recruiter they have played already this year, with a lot of new pieces, with a lot of injury-riddled players. You know, they were flat. They looked very flat, and LSU looked pretty premium, and that week before plays such a huge role. I don't think really the broadcast mentioned that. I haven't really seen many people mention that, which is why this game, you have to factor all of that in. It is very rare that LSU has more time to prepare than their opposition. It's normally pretty much the exact same amount of days and time. When I went back and looked at the film, the one guy that really popped out was Ed Ingram. I mean, he looked every bit as dominant as La'el Collins has ever looked in this game. I mean, he was mowing guys down, moving bodies. Ed Ingram just got healthy. Don't you think that extra week of rest played huge into his dominant performance? I mean, legit, that was the best I've seen a guard play in quite some time. We're talking Will Blackwell level dominance. It was really that good. And that was just one of many. I saw a lot of little things, especially on the offensive side of the ball, improve, particularly when it comes to run blocking. Eric Gilbert was really good run blocking. And because you have that extra week, because you're able to install so much, and because both the true freshmen were able to run with the ones for a little more than just 7 days, that's why LSU looked so daggum crisp on offense. And honestly, that's why I'm a little bit concerned on defense. They lead the SEC in sacks. The cornerback play has been as good as it's ever been, with Elias Ricks and Derek Stingley Jr. shutting dudes down. But still, the defense somehow averaged 7.9 yards per play, and the basic plays still aren't being stopped when you knew the plays that South Carolina were running. They were running basically the same offense that they have been running all year, and these little jet sweeps and runs to the outsides, we can't even see them keep contained. What is going on? So that, to me, is a bigger concern than anything. So I just wanted to point that out because now we're getting ready for Auburn, where the week and time to prepare are dead even. So we'll see what happens. So I wanted to take a look at the film. I went back and rewatched all the offensive plays, and TJ Finley, man, his threat, and he's not a mobile guy. He's not Michael Vick or he's not Tim Tebow, but he, just having that threat to run played such a huge role. LSU's RPO percentage went up, so number 11 gives you a few extra things, including a quarterback sneak would have won. I don't know why, trying quarterback sneak against Missouri, even with Myles Brennan, but we saw the quarterback sneak was a very effective play for LSU. It got them a touchdown. So, him being out there gives you a few extra things to do compared to Myles Brennan, where with Myles Brennan, defenses don't have to worry about him running basically at all. So having number 11 out there, opens up just a few more opportunities. After watching the game, this is how I ranked the LSU offensive players according to their performance. Ed Ingram was far and away the most dominant LSU Tiger. And then, Terrace Marshall Jr. is still scoring. So those two players are, based on what I saw against South Carolina, are playing at a different level. I thought Eric Gilbert's blocking deserves a lot of credit. Of course, TJ Finley. And to me, LSU has to play Jere Jenkins more because he's doing all the little things right. Now, how LSU rotates the receivers going forward, it becomes even more complicated because different guys have shown flashes of brilliance. You have Coy Moore, and then you have Kayshon Boutte, and then you also have John Trey Kirkland, whose pick is what set up TJ Finley's first touchdown, a wide-open Terrace Marshall in the back corner of the end zone. So, before we get into subscriber shout-out, I have to shout out the Super Chat. So, on our live streams now, you guys are able to pay me directly some money. For quite some time, I have been doing these videos on my own dime and time. All this fancy equipment, it doesn't look that fancy. It's just a black backdrop. But all the lighting and stuff costs money. I invested into this channel. So it's cool that some of you guys really supported me. And, it's cool that YouTube is supporting me back. So I want to verbally show some love to Yusha, Rage, Specialty K, Judah, Romeo, Cliff, Chad Metz, Black Goatee, and my man, Tony. And then Cortez, Mr. Rick, Noel, Mark, 2 or 3, not good as 1. I like that name. And you should donate it again. Let's start with Thanos, who's been supporting me as well. Thank you so much, man. Great team win. They played very well. We still need defensive adjustments. But is it me or Clark always getting beat in coverage? Every big play, it seems like he's the guy right behind and out of position. And on first glance, because Clark is the guy chasing guys down, it does seem like that's the case, but not so much. I believe the defensive ends for LSU, and I mentioned this to Thanos, it's kind of tough. It's weird, Thanos, like, if you know what I'm talking about, Inevitable. Anyway, it does seem like that, but after watching the tape, LSU's defensive ends aren't doing the best job of keeping contained. Also, some safeties look a little out of position, so it's not just Clark who is obviously chasing a lot of tackles down, but it's the entire box. That front 7, along with the safeties, have to do a better job. And this is the most frustrating thing, is that LSU is getting very good pass rush, and they're getting dominant cornerback play to the outside. So the fact that this isn't fixed yet is a huge problem. Universal truth is right on here. The offensive line was just dominant, and it's crazy considering Dare Rosenthal has been suspended indefinitely, and Cam Meyer has actually looked better than Dare in both the games that he's played. So, we'll see what the kid from Gonzales does against Auburn, who obviously always has a talented front. And I like Lewis's honesty here. At this point, the only two backs that should get touches is Emory and Davis Price, because Chris Curry barely gains any yards every time he runs the ball. So my film study before the year actually backed Lewis's point here. I thought, looking at all three of the backs, John Emory was the best back. TDP was right behind him. And Chris Curry was a good back, but just not as good as those guys. And the advanced statistics actually back that up when it comes to broken tackle rate. So, yeah, I like Chris Curry. I like that he got the number 18 uniform. I think that's good. He is a high-character team-first guy. The Oklahoma game was so huge, but, we've seen enough. This is TDP and John Emory Jr. going forward until either one of them start playing poorly, or if Chris Curry breaks out, which he has the ability to do so, I think you got to roll with JEJ and TDP the rest of the way. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! Yo, I'm not going to lie, we do have leftover lemon pepper chicken wings tonight. Let's go. Let's go.